Welcome to Breaking Bread. It's a delicious weekly serving of conversation and cuisine. I'm your host, Tiffany Bacon, and every week we'll broadcast from a different restaurant, eatery, or chef's kitchen, where delicious delights and curious conversation is on the menu. We broadcast on Word Radio, 900 AM and 96.1 FM in Philadelphia, and worldwide online at wordradio.com and all Word social media. Everybody, welcome to another edition of Breaking Bread. Thank you so much for joining us. You know, I like to go around town and highlight great places to eat and places that have some cultural significance. And this week, we're at a place that I used to go to all the time, like the spot that you go to after you were partying half the night. You come over here and get a good grub and have an amazing experience. Today we're at Silk City, and I have some great people with me as we're having a wonderful brunch conversation about Philly music culture and, of course, good diner culture after the music is over. I want to welcome my very special guest, Lady Alma and Rich Medina. Hey, y'all.
Hey.
Thank you. I'm great. How are you?
I can't complain. I'm alive.
I know that's right. Alive and kicking, alive and thriving.
Yeah.
So I wanted to start off this week's edition of Breaking Bread by talking just to start about how significant Silk City was, especially back in the day when we were out partying, y'all out performing, doing your thing. We would end up coming here to get a good grub and have a good time. Let's talk about how significant it's been, this place has been to the culture. Rich, Lady Alma, who wants to start?
Well, for me, it's very significant because this is kind of where my career started. Working with King Britt and Dazier, Blakely, and even Rich. This is where I met Rich. And
Really?
so it's very significant. And I ate here and partied here and performed here. I did some of everything here. So it's super, super significant, and to see like the changes a bit, because we didn't have really like the luxury of the outside dining as much as everyone does now. And so this is special to be able to come back after so many years and to see it has evolved, changed and evolved, but still the same Silk City diner that we all know and love.
Yeah, I love that. How about you, Rich?
Yeah, I could say the same. I mean, when I moved here, I was searching for my tribe. I was really a new guy to Philadelphia. Landing at Silk City, like Alma said, I met King, Dazier, the whole Back to Basics band.
Yeah.
Got Dre, Vidal,
Yeah.
Carvin, bunch of the guys that worked out of Jazzy Jeff's studio. Damn near everybody that was the who's who in Philadelphia at the time was coming here for King Britt and Dazier's parties, for Back to Basics and the Booty Party on Saturdays.
Yeah.
And for me, as an artist, this is the first place I played for a 21 and over audience.
Get out.
I've been playing for a while, but I was a kid. Now here I am able to play my first time playing in a 21 and over venue was here.
That's amazing. Now, you mentioned a lot of like names that we all know, but for anybody who's just catching the show for the first time, let's just backtrack and talk about what that Philly music culture scene that we're talking about. Give us a little bit more depth into it. What exactly are we talking about? What years and what was going on?
I got here in 1992.
And I was getting ready to say, around about that time is when Back to Basics started. It was really before the Lily. So I'd like to say that maybe the Lily kind of spawned from Back to Basics in a sense.
Sure.
Now, give us a little bit more detail. So Back to Basics was what? Remember?
Back to Basics was a Monday night party that Jafar, Tim Moxer, Jeff Bradshaw, Dre,
Dixon,
Vidal.
Dre and Vidal are who? Dre who?
Dre
Vidal
and
who?
Vidal who produced all of Usher's stuff. That third album that did really good, that was Dre and Vidal. And all of those guys used to get together, Tim, and they all played in a band with Jafar Barron, who, plays trumpet and cornet, I believe it's called. And they used to start the evening. Well, actually, King, Britt, and Dazia, which are staple legend DJs here in Philadelphia, and Dazia being the nephew of the great Art Blakely, do your work, do your research, Art Blakely. They had a night, and they would start it with some good music, and then the band would come on, and the band would play original music from Jafar Barron, and then they would open up the mic a little bit, but it really was about the music and the party and the people that would come. And that's what was going on, like in the early 90s. Okay.
And King Britt was the DJ for Diggable Planets at the time.
Right.
He was Silkworm in Diggable Planets, so he had that whole commercial hip-hop energy happening with his career. He was also, and if you know anything about King Britt, he's really esoteric, kind of avant-garde guy. He's always a couple of steps ahead of the curve.
Right.
He was also kind of like our Giles Peterson in a way.
Yeah.
Like King brought this adventurous acid jazz, trip hop, soulful stuff outside of the hip hop and R&B and soul template that we were all so familiar with. King really pioneered that in the States, if not, let alone just in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
I think nationwide and eventually internationally for him. So he was also dealing with a really strong platform, and it was so fertile,
Yeah.
I mean, everybody that was part of the community was 30 and under.
Yeah.
Nobody had really peaked yet. It was just this crazy playground of super exceptionally talented people. And for me, as a new kid in town, that changed everything for me.
Wow.
I think it made me a Philadelphian.
And we welcome you because you're originally from.
I'm from Lakewood, New Jersey.
So we welcome you into the Philly Circle. And it's so important. This show is about brunch and food, and we're going to sample some of the menu and talk about it in just a moment. But there's so much rich history that we have in Philly with venues, and so many of them no longer exist. And that is the shame. You can't build a shrine to a building that's no longer standing in a lot of instances. And so in the case of Silk City, not only is it standing, it survived the pandemic.
Yes.
A lot of places did not survive.
Absolutely.
So what does that mean to you to say this place, which has changed a lot, like you said, we're in the garden section. When we used to come here after the parties and after the shows, it was just the diner, right? Yeah. The diner's only but so big, but we crammed ourselves in there and had a ball regardless. What does it mean to you to be able to say, here's one of those venues that sparked and helped create space for a movement that's still here in 2024?
Philadelphia is a foodie town. I think across all the cultures, Philadelphia is a very food-driven city, no matter whatever lifestyle or discipline you're in. And the constant across all of that is comfort food. And I think that simple formula of just regular, simple, diner-oriented with a twist approach to cuisine is why they've been able to stay around for so long, because that simple formula, it's always going to work.
Yeah.
They didn't try to grow or get, polish it up or make it, because that's how it usually happens with gentrification and time passing. Things kind of have to get more commercial or bigger to survive. But there's a baseline of the way things are done here that obviously is a testament to how long they've been here.
Yeah. It is a blessing. It's a blessing that they were able to withstand a moment that some businesses that were around just as long couldn't. You know, it's a blessing.
Yeah, I love it. So if you're just tuning in, this is Breaking Bread on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media. I'm your host, Tiffany Bacon. My very special guest, industry favorites, Philly's own, even if they are adopted, Philly's own, Lady Alma and Rich Medina, joining me for brunch today. We're talking about the Philly scene, and we're here at Soap City, which is located at 5th and Spring Garden in Northern Liberties. Still standing, beautiful outdoor seating area. You can also sit in the diner for the diner feel. But this outdoor seating is really, really nice. Like lots of plants. It's airy. It has a nice mystique to it. Yeah. And I can't wait for us to try the food. Now, you got a beverage already. So
yes,
what you sipping on?
Well, ice cold water first.
Yes, sir.
But, nice rum and coke.
Okay.
Nice sunny afternoon with my two lady friends.
Yes. We're talking about what we sipping on. We're sipping on this nice cold water because it's a hot day.
I'm on that team too.
Cheers to all. Cheers to all. So, you all have a lot of amazing things going on in your careers. You're doing a home series with Fly Girl, Rich. And I know the next one's coming up in July. The next one is coming up in July. So tell me about all of what people can expect when they come out to Home, which is Home at Silk City.
Indeed. So Home is a residency party that I started, 14 years ago now.
Oh, wow.
We were doing it at a place called Come On Everybody in Brooklyn. We were there for 8 years. We've moved to House of Yes and a few different venues in New York to find a secure home. But since starting that party in New York, I've always brought it to Philadelphia at least once a quarter, and started collaborating with Stacey Wilson, aka Fly Girl, promotionally to help me do the event. And yeah, since before the pandemic and immediately after the pandemic, we do the party here at Silk City every other month. We try to pick the first Friday if we can, but every other month.
Every other month, so that it's August. Can check you out in August. And what is it? Describe the experience for anyone who's not had a chance to come to the party yet.
Home is a party that's centered around house music, disco, or what some people would call dance classics, and rare groove dance records. So it's for me personally, it's a tip of the hat to Larry Levan and David Mancuso, the two gentlemen responsible for the lifestyle of being a person that can pay their bills DJing for people. It's a nod to that, and it's also an opportunity to play music that has a really positive messaging, a lot of melodic sensibility, a lot of harmonic sensibility, a lot of credible songwriting, because as we know what's going on in the commercial world, the things that are being thrown at us, it's meant to lower our frequencies, so we try to combat that with the music that we play at home.
I love it. And I want to get to Lady Alma because she is house diva. Okay, I want to get to you in a second, but I want to take this opportunity to educate folks that may know house music but not know the history. You mentioned some very important names. Tell us who they were and why were they so pivotal.
David Mancuso was the creator of an event called The Loft. It was actually a party that happened in his loft on the Lower East Side of New York City before it became established at the various venues that it lived in. And David Mancuso is like an audiophile supreme, a music lover, and his whole credo was love saves the day.
I love that.
There's actually a really beautiful book about David Mancuso and the Loft called Love Saves the Day. I'd advise you pick it up. But, David Mancuso is the godfather of the club DJ. And Larry Levan is the DJ that was not only at the table with him, but came behind the Loft with the Paradise Garage. And the Paradise Garage is the shining example of a venue wrapping itself around a DJ and a music programmer. So, those they're benchmarks for the culture. And yeah, I believe I speak for a lot of people, young and old, that know without David Mancuso and Larry Levan, the idea of a working club DJ doesn't really exist.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And Lady Alma, you have been steeped in the genre for some time. Just talk about how important they are to you, but just your career in general, being able to gig regularly.
It's kind of obvious what Rich has said, why it's important to me, because if it wasn't for them, and we also got to talk about the Godfathers, Larry Levan and Frankie Knuckles, but if it wasn't for them cats, I would not exist. And I would not be here, and disco would have just died and not had a baby called House. Because that's how I like to see that House is disco's daughter. And she had babies, EDM and drum and bass and all these things. So I'm really grateful to Mr. Mancuso and Larry Levan and those from Chicago, the Ron Trents and all those cats, you know, for creating and making a genre come alive so that I could have a place to, you know, become. That's me.
Ooh, all right.
Nice.
And the food has arrived. I'm loving it. Okay. I'm loving all of this.
Yes,
And
sir.
can I please have some hot sauce?
Yeah, I'll be right back.
Gotta
Thank
have
you.
the hot sauce.
You know you do when you eat chicken.
I think
Come
this
on.
is who's this?
That's Rich, I believe. That's
This is
you,
you?
right? Chicken
No, I
sandwich?
asked for a southern chicken.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll find out.
I ain't get it right.
That's all right.
Unless it was a southern chicken sandwich and I didn't realize it.
I
It
think
might be.
It was a southern chicken sandwich.
Is that what it was?
Dig in.
Which is why I went for the chicken.
So
Gonna work
dig
it out.
in.
Brother's gonna work it out.
This looks amazing. So you were just talking about the Godfather, especially Frankie Knuckles, and for those who don't know a lot about house music history, please take it upon yourself to look up some more information so you too can go deep.
Yeah.
But what brought you into the genre to perform?
Well, being at Silk City, which is how Silk 130 spawned, which is a group from King Britt. That's his family, who we went on the road for a little bit. He was signed to Sony, and we went out on the road a little bit, and we did our thing. And then everyone started to individually break out. But Silk City is the reason why. I've always loved house music from the college and the high school days. But it was once I came into my adulthood, early 20s, coming out with my girlfriend Tangent Dixon on a Monday night, being able to hear house too. Like, we heard all the other genres, but I got a chance to hear house, and I could twirl.
Yes,
You
come
know,
on,
you
twirl.
can twirl.
You better twirl. Come on, twirl.
So that was my inspiration, you know. Tangent and I, we would do, like, while King would be spinning or Daz would be spinning, we'd be in the middle of the dance floor singing. And being able to be heard through those tall speakers and stuff like that. It was feel good, and I enjoyed feel good. I enjoyed being in a place where I didn't really have to worry about running from or getting robbed or any of that, because of what the elements that would bring the atmosphere. You know, the music, you know, the people, it all went together, and it was so diverse. I just felt like that's what I wanted to do. I didn't want to just give my gift to one group of people. Although I love my people, I wanted to give the gift, you know, to everybody. I wanted my music to reflect diversity, and because of house is
That was it.
says diversity. So those were the inspirations behind it.
I love it.
Here.
I love it.
Thank you, King.
I know that's right. And let me tell you something. You talk about the Monday night. I used to work at Channel 29.
Oh, wow.
I was an intern first, and then I was a production assistant, and I was there for the beginning of Good Day. So
Wow.
as it was starting, I was running the teleprompter and all that. So on Monday nights, the crew would be like, yo, we need to go to Silk City. Because we got off at 10 o'clock. We got off at 11. News came on at 10. We got off at 11. It was like prime time to come down the street to Silk City. And we would be fresh from Fox News.
Oh, wow.
Up in the spot, twirling. On the dance floor.
Wow.
Listen, I'm sure I bumped into you and twirled next to you during that time. I'm sure. And it was just the most free, fun. Like you said, you weren't worried about getting mugged, getting shot. You weren't worried about any of that. You usually came in a crew, so most of you weren't walking by yourself anyway, because you always had a crew with you, because that made it even more fun. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, after you twirled half the night, you ready to get something to eat. You just go literally down the hall into the diner.
Yep. And you could do it while stuff was going on, you know?
Right. If you got tired while the party was happening,
you can run on over.
Right on over.
Get yourself something to eat.
Yeah, a little snizzat.
Be right there, that.
And
all the people saw you because the door would be open. Mm-hmm. So they knew, okay, she's over there.
Yep.
And he's over there. Yeah. And the sharing of the fries and the sharing of the wings and all kinds of things. Just the camaraderie of friendship alone.
And you would always meet somebody new.
Yes.
Always. Nobody was stuck up. Nobody was on some more other stuff. It really was a good vibe all around. Every week for years. And still is.
Yeah.
And still is. It's just we're a little older now. Life's a little different. Life be life.
Shout out to the young people that are creating and having parties. And you know, one in particular, I don't know if Josh Lang has been here yet, but I want to shout him out because, you know, I'm a house head and I'm a house artist and I'm a house. Mm-hmm. And he's bringing it back to the young people. Nice. He's exposing house music to the young people. And awesome. I'm so grateful to him. So I hope he gets a party or something here to come and, you know, rock them out and people be able to be exposed to city.
Yeah, I think
some of the food.
I'm sorry, thank you for mentioning that, because it's also important to highlight and mention other generations who are continuing this path, who are continuing to have or create that kind of vibe. Mm-hmm. You know, we don't want it to get lost. You know, a lot of people talk about the Black Lily. Mm-hmm. You know, when we reference a certain time period in Philly music history, Black Lily at the 5 spot, Bank Street, between 2nd and 3rd off Market, no longer there. Can't do much but talk about it now. You can't do much but talk about it. So it's important, that venues that are still standing can keep that vibe going.
Right.
Now, we can get back to the party. Let's talk about this food, because it's out here. Alma, let's start with you. You got a serious,
oh my God.
You got a serious grub happening on your lady.
You know what? I'm sorry.
No.
But
it's all right.
I love Silk City's greens.
They have good greens.
And they put smoked turkey meat in them. You can't always find that.
That's true. And especially downtown. You can't uptown.
That. Yeah, you go uptown, you might find it.
You can.
In one of the mom and pops shops. But to go to a staple place like Silk City and be able to order some greens, and they're really good, they're tender, and they got smoked turkey in it.
Yes. I'm loving that for you. I'm loving that for you. And it's, okay, let's talk about this chicken.
Okay.
It looks like It was fried with some Crisco because it's got it's got that dark.
It is crunchy.
Yes.
Listen, it's tender. Look at that. It's juicy at the same time, though.
Okay, juicy.
And these mashed potatoes. Come on, get into these mashed.
Oh, look at that. Oh, that looks good.
They're creamy. Lord. If you guys could be on this other side of the camera, honey.
They just gotta come down there on their own time.
Yeah, I love the chef here. He really puts his heart and soul into the food that he prepares. Him and his line people. I enjoy eating here. I really do.
It looks delicious.
It is.
If I was still eating meat, I'd be ordering that plate.
Right?
I would be ordering that plate. All right, Rich, you got the healthy man's meal, half healthy, half not. Let's go with the salad. How's that going?
Caesar salad and a southern chicken sandwich, fries. Again, staple diner vibrations, very staple stuff, but always done really, really well. Caesar salad is fantastic. Chicken sandwich is dressed beautifully. Fries are always crispy. It's been damn near 30 years
living off of
place,
Yes.
I be talking too much. I'll be here so city to eat a lot.
I'm just saying, and so that's one of the biggest testaments to longevity is that the food tastes the way you remember it. And even if you try something new, it's not like, ooh, wait, what were they trying to do with these flavors? It's still the flavor that you love,
for sure.
The flavor that's filling. And I mean, it's got to mix with a lot of sweat because usually you coming off the dance floor, coming from behind the mic, coming from behind the turntables. You're like, I'm famished. I really would eat anything right now, but I'm glad that I'm not just eating anything. I'm eating something that's filling and tastes good.
Yeah.
That's important.
And semi-healthy.
So I'm over here with I think it's a shrimp fried rice, which is very good. And I got garlic greens, so I'm about to dig into that in a few seconds.
I know that's right.
I have to I'm sorry, not greens. Spinach. Garlic spinach. I'm a spinach lover. You might as well call me Popeye.
Come on.
Because I love spinach. I love it sauteed. I don't like it. Like back in the day, I used to have it boiled to death. And it didn't taste like nothing.
Yeah.
Like in the cafeteria, you get some boiled spinach. No. Saute that up with some fresh garlic and some onions and some seasoning to your liking.
Baby. Come on.
You cannot go wrong. And this is, I'm looking at all of this. It looks like it has red pepper flakes, if I'm not mistaken.
It looked like it to me.
Oh, it's
delicious.
It's about to be all the way on.
Oh, yeah, I know that's right.
So tell me about some of your fondest memories, like straight up, yo, this was the best night ever here in Soap City. Yeah. While you're thinking about that, I'm going to take another bite of this.
That's definitely something to think about.
That's a lot.
Even if you can just narrow it down, like I can talk about, there's so many, but I remember when Kindred the Family Soul were taping the video for Far West.
In the diner.
And there was a scene in the diner. And I just remember all of us sitting in there waiting for the cameras to start rolling. Lights are blazing. And we're just singing, cutting the food, having the best time. Like, literally having the best time. Just waiting around. Literally waiting around. I don't even think we had food. I don't really remember if we had any food because they were taping, so they didn't want to get stuff around. But we were just in there singing and laughing and joking and just soaking up each other's energy. And it was so much fun. And every time I came here, it was that kind of energy. It was just so much fun. Never did I come here and was like, I'm ready to go. Like you walk in the door, then at some parties you walk in the door and you walk right back out. Like, this ain't for me. This is not my vibe. That was definitely one of those nights where I'm like, yo, this is the best time ever. That's just one of many, of course.
I think the Silk 130 album release party for me was big because like I was just coming into my friendship with everybody that was on the record. I had seen everybody perform in some capacity or another, and then like, you know, here comes this album, you know, and all of it was like a reality check moment. Like, yo, this is actually way beyond Philadelphia now. You know what I mean? Like, this thing is coming out the gate international because it's a Sony thing, and this thing is really happening. This machine is really working. You know, it's just one of those moments of like, I'm glad I found this community of people with all the things that they are going on. It's got to be contagious, you know, and I need to be around this energy.
It's amazing. How about you, Mama?
Oh man,
I know there's
so
a lot.
many.
I know there's a lot.
But one of my fondest memories was on a Monday night. King and Diz was having a special night. So like Questlove was here, Erykah Badu was here.
I remember that night.
Jill was here. So many musicians. And when they opened the mic, that was one of the first times that I had started performing. And I didn't get up with my partner because at that time it was Tanja and myself. And we were called TNA on the Rocks. Tanja and Alma on the Rocks, people, not the other
stuff.
TNA. And I just got up and sang, and it felt so good because, like, it was everybody I knew. And it's like one of the first times I'm displaying myself as a talent alone. And, you know, to have all that love that was shown, because Philly is hard. Philly is a hard city. One thing we're good for, we're enriched for the music and enriched for the food and aesthetic buildings. And so I know how my city can get. Shout out to my city because I love you guys.
Amen.
But they showed so much love on that evening, and it was just one of the many memorable times. Like I met my brother there, you know. It just felt good to be in that time. It feels good to be now, but just in that time, because I was in my prime and everything. Silk City kind of raised me.
That's amazing. I think that might have been the night that we met. Because I remember you doing your thing, and I remember being in the corner like...
Probably, and actually it was right after Erykah went on.
I remember that night.
So I was just amazed because we had Erykah Badu in Silk City. It was like, you know, this is during like when Erykah was like, she's still up there, but you know what I'm saying, in the beginning.
Yeah, because Mama's Gun was out, and was about to come out.
And she was a part of the Soul Aquarians.
Soul Aquarians, right. And she did a concert at Electric Factory, and Eric Benet opened. And Eric Benet opened.
Tells you how big she was.
Good morning. And the Electric Factory is like down the street, but far from here.
Right.
And he opened for her, and this is when I think Mama's Gun wasn't out yet, but her live album was out, and she like debuted Tyrone. No one had heard the song yet, and she's up there giving it up, like just going for broke. And we were like, yo, okay, whatever the next album is, we're ready. And that's just like within blocks of here. So even after Electric Factory performances, we would all kind of migrate over here.
For sure.
After going to Fluid, after going to all these other places, we would migrate over here. And it's just something about diner culture in Philly too. You know, I haven't spent an extensive amount of like living time in other cities. I've visited a lot of cities, but not like lived there. So I don't have a sense of diner culture in other places. What would you say is, if you would say there's anything unique about Philly diner culture versus other places that you've been?
I think in Philly, every culture has their own diner culture.
Right.
The Vietnamese, the Cambodians, the Italians, the Russians, the Slavic people, the whole Latin diaspora. Every chamber, every social or ethnic chamber there is with regard to cuisine has their own version of it, you know. So it's what I was saying earlier about comfort food. Right. Just everybody loves a stack of pancakes on a Sunday, you know.
Yeah.
Everybody loves
fries.
you know.
Yeah.
And every culture has their own, you know, for us it's, you know, a brunch thing or a diner thing. In another culture, it's different cuisine, but with the same disposition.
Right.
Love it. Okay. What are your thoughts on that?
You know, I would have to kind of echo what Rich is saying. You know, I know for a fact when I'm going to, like, down South Philly, I'm going to get the honey baby, sweetie, honey baby. And I love that. And that's the only place I'll accept it is from the diner culture, because they're loving up on you, not just through the food, but through the atmosphere and who they are. You know you're going to get, not abrupt, but it's not so personal when you go eat at a Vietnamese buffet, but like again, Rich said, it's still like a culture, and it's Philly. So, you know, for me, I love me a good diner. And, you know, I'm sad that the Snyder Diner, world famous Melrose, is gone now. You've seen we're talking about that. So shout out again to Silk City for sustaining, because
it's hard.
It's rough.
It's hard, especially post-pandemic lockdown.
Yes.
You know, that all eateries took a hit. Everybody had to quickly pivot, and it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy for us, and we're not restaurateurs. So you know it had to be super hard for anyone running a diner, a restaurant, you know. And the fact that now they have this beautiful outdoor space, like, you know, for a while, that's all you could do.
Right.
You couldn't sit inside.
Right.
And they created something that's like, ooh,
it's a cute little oasis. I feel like I'm in Florida.
Yes. I feel like I'm on an island somewhere.
Yeah, I really do. I really do. From the decor to, you know, the little sprays, spritzes of water that comes out of some of the fans. And, you know, I'm a sweater. So for me to be sitting here and not a drop of sweat coming off of me, you know, I'm in an oasis at this point in time.
I know that's right. It's very much that.
Yes, ma'am.
Your thoughts, sir?
I agree. 100%. 100%.
Yeah, it's got that island flavor. All right, so speaking of flavors, you let your food marinate a little bit. Is it still hitting you the same way as it was when it first came out?
Oh my God, yes. I'm really trying to be a lady right now.
Not go all the way in.
Eat like one little piece of green. But if this camera wasn't on, baby, I probably would have stuff all on my dress by now. Because I could throw down. They call me Lady Alma, but honey, Lady Alma can throw down.
And ain't nothing wrong with it. Listen, it's summertime, so this is like eat dirty time. You either cracking crabs or you going to somebody's barbecue and you tearing up the bone on that rib and looking like, listen, don't take no pictures of me, but barbecue sauce all over my face.
On my chin. It sometimes manages, I feed my clothing.
Yes.
Hey.
I always say that girls eat more than me.
I know that. We have to talk about girl problems later on because I can feel you.
I'm just dated. But sometimes you don't need to be all prim and proper. Like, you just have to be able to enjoy yourself. And like, for me, brunch is one thing when you're by yourself. It's something different when you're with your crew.
Yeah.
You're with your friends. Tell me about like that. What's your favorite brunch memory? Like just hanging out with folk at brunch. Whether it was here in Silk City or somewhere else.
You know what? Okay, I got a good memory. I ate somewhere else with my band members. It was Chris's birthday. Chris Stevens. Christopher Michael Stevens, actually. That's my MD. He's the head of Vertical Current. And it was his birthday, and we had brunch at another fine establishment. And it, just being around and laughing and, sampling each other's food, and, it's priceless. You can't really pay for those type of memories. And that's what brunch with my friends invokes to me, are priceless moments that you shouldn't be in your phone. You should be loving up on one another, eating each other's food and laughing and just thinking about the positive things, and maybe a little prayer before you guys leave to cover everybody. You know what I mean? That's what brunch is to me, is family. It's with people I love. Good memories, good times.
I love it. How about you? You have a favorite one?
Most of mine are here at Silk, and most of that happened when my son was born.
Ooh.
That was like our thing. Like, I'm not on the road. It's Sunday brunch at Silk with the baby.
Sunday.
Until he wasn't a baby. He's my height now. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, whether we were sitting in one of the booths inside the diner, or once they opened out here. This was open, this was open when Kamal was born.
Mm-hmm.
So we were out here weekly, like swore by the place. It was one of the places that we knew, as long as he had that mac and cheese in front of him, he was gonna eat everything.
He was all right. He was all right. Listen, there's something about mac and cheese. You talk about comfort food. There's something about mac and cheese that's just like, I just need it. And I don't eat cheese anymore, so I'm trying to find my way around it. Like, I've had vegan mac and cheese. Some of it's trash, some of it's amazing. It's just trying to find the right one. Are you the type of person who is open to trying like different things with your mac and cheese? Like, they have the crab mac and cheese. Sometimes it's like different toppings or jalapeno peppers in it. Or are you a purist? It's like, I need 15 cheeses and an egg dropped in on the side.
No, I like, especially with the seafood combination, because I'm a seafood lover. A little lobster mac, a little crab mac. Oh my goodness.
Okay.
And now they're getting real creative, doing shrimp mac and all kinds of macs now.
I've seen that. I haven't tried a shrimp mac, but I've definitely had a lobster mac and a crab mac. You tried different things?
Yeah, for sure. I'm open. If I'm at the crib, I just want it the way my mom's make it.
Right. At the crib,
on the
it's
side of
different.
15 cheeses.
All of them. All them dudes. I need all of that in my life. But out in the wild, yeah.
Did you say in the wild?
Yeah.
Out in the wild, out here in these COVID streets.
In these COVID streets. You better try it. The way the world is set up, you better try it.
I'm loving
Better open your palate up.
Some people won't. Listen, some people won't. Some people just want the meat, the potatoes, and that's it. They don't want to try anything new. They look at everything that's new and they say, I don't like it, never touched it. I know a lot of people that are like, I don't like that. You never tried it.
Can I say this, though? The way the world is going, you're going to have to, because they're getting ready to make us eat insects in the world.
Oh, Lord, stop.
I'm damn.
Stop. I can't.
Sorry, y'all.
I mean, shrimp is kind of like an ocean insect.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, I don't want to think about that. Let's pivot. Let's talk about what's coming up for y'all, because I know you have some amazing things on the horizon. How people can support you, can check you out. What's coming up next after June is over? What's coming up for you?
Well, I'm going to Chicago the 13th because I got something I'm doing there.
Okay.
And it's called Mother's Day in July.
Ooh.
And then in August, the 15th, I'll be here back home. Doing my Gimme That Music at the Lawn Garden up near 38th Street. So if you guys are not doing anything on the 15th of August, come on out. It's free. No excuse. Free.
No excuse at all. All right, Rich, what's up with you?
July, I'll be at Montreux Jazz Festival with my business partners at Dante's Hi-Fi. From there, come back to the States, play a Jay Dilla tribute in Brooklyn on
When
the
is
12th
that?
of July.
Oh, my goodness.
The night after that, I do Celebrate Brooklyn with Sheon Kuti, Fela Kuti's son. Go back to Europe, to Lisbon, Portugal for Sunsabit. Finish at Sunsabit, go to Amsterdam, teach a couple of lectures and give a couple of DJ workshops with John Agasilas and Neda Sal at the Foundation. And then come back stateside and back to driving the boat at Dante's Hi-Fi, and hopefully, without letting the cat out the bag, looking at some expansion with Dante's and landing at a new Brooklyn space near you.
Ooh. So, I can't wait to find out more.
Yeah, we're working.
So please drop your website so people can keep up, your social media so people can follow. In case they can't remember all these dates, they can go and click and find out more. That's all right, Rich.
You can always find me at richmedina.com or on Instagram at richmedina. Those are the two places where I do the most talking, and all the links to any and everything I'm doing can all be found there.
Fabulous, Lady Alma.
And you can find me at theLadyAlma.com, and that's also my Instagram and Facebook tag, The Lady Alma. And jump on Spotify and all those music platforms, because Rich and myself have great music. Rich Medina, Lady Alma.
Simple as that. Thank y'all so much. I truly appreciate y'all.
Oh, thank you for
joining
having
me
us.
for brunch today.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for having us.
Thankful to be
Listen, Tiff, you are a staple in this music industry, and we want to say, at least I'm speaking for myself, how much I love and appreciate you from you doing the B-sides of everybody's music to holding it down at Word Now. And so I wish you much, much continuous success at Word and everywhere that you plant your feet.
You speak for me too.
Thank you. I appreciate y'all so much. I really do. And I appreciate my producer, Nicholas Steptoe, doing his thing in the background. Also, what's up to Damon Bennett and Mr. Susan, the creators of the Breaking Bread theme song. Thank you so much for joining us. Have a peaceful, positive, and productive day. We'll catch you next time.
If you missed our Trans Afro Express event on Friday, June 14th, check out this snippet from the panel discussion.
Is this a bad thing for the music to be shared widely and globally? Because everybody that is trying to make it as a musician really desires for you to come to their local gig. So I want to put that in the mix. that we can have theoretical ideas about music, we can have political ideas about music, but I wonder how many opinions of the musicians themselves are in the mix.
Okay. Yeah, I would like the rest of it.
When's the last time, we worry about who's playing the blues, who's playing the jazz, who's playing the hip hop, who's doing that? When's the last time you purchased the ticket? When's the last time you looked to see who was playing that World Cafe Live or Chris's Jazz Cafe or South, and to come out there and make sure you're there to buy their CD? As these people are trying to make all of this great music that we say we worship and do not support.
But as a professional musician, one who does make a living there, and I understand that. I have a nephew who was rooted in jazz, but he makes his living playing all kind of lollipop music, and he loves it. But would you say there is let's take the movie One Love, which many of us just saw.
I was just about to address that in time.
It seems like there is a cost, a trade-off.
Yes.
In order for Bob Marley to stay on the path with Chris Blackwell, he lost Peter Tosh, he lost Buddy, because they weren't willing, at least the story goes, to make those concessions to the sound. One Love means something different politically, coming out of the mouth of Marcus Garvey, than what Bob Marley is singing about in order to sell 10 million records. So there is a political trade-off even in the economics. Would you agree?
And go ahead. There's truly, listening to Bob Marley, there's truly only one love. One love. One love. No more, it doesn't need a whole bunch.
All a real one.
For real. And Bob Marley started, a poor man, although his father was rich and all of that. But he grew up in 9 Miles and said with a poor grandfather, Omariah Malcolm, his mother's father. And so he experienced all of that growing up and then coming to Kingston and absorbing the culture in Kingston and the life in Kingston. And he still had the inspiration within him to produce what he produced. But all of that came from his upbringing and his life in Jamaica, which is a magical kind of existence.
Andre.
Okay, so both and. Let's look at one of the things that I notice about us as Black people is that we see one side or the other. We don't see all sides, right? Both and. Philadelphia has some of the most creative people I have ever met in my life, too. And part of our issue here as a city is, to your point, Dr. Guthrie, is that we don't really fully support each other. So I'm making a commitment on WRD Radio, not just in Black Music Month, but all throughout the year, to highlight some of the local folks, right, that are consistently out here. Now that's a solution, right? So I can get on the air and I can say, so-and-so is playing at such and such, go support them. But the truth of the matter is, and we also have to see the political side. If you're a certain hue, Bob Marley became commercially successful because the music he was playing was one that embraced, everybody. Peter Tosh and the rest of them, Bush and Banton, they were talking about the suffering of the people in a way that made people rise their hackles and didn't want to really deal with it. And so they tried to push them off to the side. And Bob Marley had to leave Jamaica to go to another country for his music to become something. Because what they said to him was, you have a compound, you're living a good life, we want you to choose a political party. And the gangs were fighting so hard in Jamaica at the time, it was truly a dangerous place to live, right? For those of us who lived there. And they almost killed him. They tried to assassinate him. It took those gang leaders to come to where he was across the water to say, you're going to have to bring peace back to this country. Can you come back, right? And so we've made him a deity, but the truth of the matter, he was just a man trying to figure out how to spread the message of the joy of his music to the people. So he had some run-ins with his group, Peter Tosh and group, Yeah. I shot the sheriff, but I didn't kill the deputy. Right. With this stuff is something that we have to really think about, right? You say you're a big axe. You say if you are a big tree, then I'm a small axe, sharpened to cut you down. Well, sharp to cut you down. So you have to hear the message. We get really caught up in the beats, doom, 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 and we don't really hear the message behind it. So he's saying you're a huge political leader, right? You're the big tree. We are the small axe, sharpened to cut you down. Well, sharp to cut you down. We have to really hear the message and then remember why we're here and why we're doing this. It is very difficult for us as a people. But music has been politicized. Our music has been co-opted, right? And so what we have to do is turn around and support one another, right, for the artists that are here.
If you'd like to listen to the full panel discussion, please go to youtube.com/@OnWURD. The Trans Afro Express event is brought to you by the Pennsylvania Lottery, Comcast, Keystone First, Pico, and supported by Fun Times Magazine.